There is one thing that follows every single human being on this planet, rich or poor, man or woman. It does not care where you were born or what language you speak. It has been hiding inside you since the day you were born, and it never really leaves. It just changes its face every few years. Right now, without even realizing it, you are afraid of something that the 5-year-old version of you would have laughed at. And 20 years from now, you will be afraid of something you don't even think about today. Stay with me until the end, because by the time this video is over, you will know exactly which fear is quietly running your life right now, and what it is going to turn into next. Childhood. Let's go back to the beginning. When you were a small child, your fear was simple. The dark, being alone in a room. A monster under the bed that you could almost see if you looked too long. Your whole world was small, so your fear was small too. It lived only in your imagination, but there was one fear underneath all of that, one your little mind could not even put into words. It was the fear of losing your parents, of being left alone in a world that felt too big and too strange to survive without them. That is why a child cries the moment their mother walks out of sight, even for 30 seconds. It is not weakness. It is the oldest fear in human history, wired into your brain before you could even speak. The fear of abandonment. You grew out of the monsters, but you never fully grew out of that. Teenage years now fast forward. You are older. The monsters are gone, but a new fear moves in, and this one is louder. It is the fear of not belonging. Suddenly, what other people think of you feels like the most important thing in the world. One wrong comment in class. One joke that goes too far. One group that does not save you a seat. And your whole day feels like it's falling apart. You start changing how you talk, how you dress, even who you sit with at lunch, all so you don't feel like the one who is left out. Here is the part almost nobody says out loud. That fear does not come from weakness either. It comes from a very old survival instinct. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by your group did not just hurt your feelings, it could get you killed. Your brain still remembers that, even though the danger is gone. So if you ever felt like you cared too much about fitting in as a teenager, you weren't broken. You were just human. Now you become an adult. And this is where the fear becomes heavier, quieter, and much harder to admit. In your 20s, the fear is no longer about monsters or classmates. It becomes the fear of failure, the fear of wasting your one life. You watch people your own age get the job, the relationship, the success you wanted, and a cold voice in your head starts asking, what if I never get there? What if I am already behind? This is usually the first time in life a person feels truly, deeply lost. Not because something bad happened to them, but because they suddenly realize no one is coming to guide them anymore. No teacher. No parent standing right behind them. Just their own choices and their own fear of making the wrong one. And here's the strange part. This fear never fully goes away either. It just gets a new outfit. By your 30s and 40s, life looks different from the outside. Maybe you have a career now. Maybe a family. Maybe a home you worked hard for. But underneath all of that, a new fear quietly takes over. The fear of being stuck. The fear that exactly this is all life is ever going to be. You start comparing your current self to the dreams your younger self once had. And sometimes the gap between them hurts more than any failure ever did. There is also a heavier fear that grows here, one people rarely say out loud. The fear of not being enough for the people depending on you. Your children. Your partner. Your parents who are now getting older instead of you. You begin to realize that other people's safety, and sometimes their happiness, feels like it rests on your shoulders. This is the age where fear stops being about yourself and starts being about everyone you love. Now picture yourself even further ahead. The mirror looks different. Your body moves a little slower. Maybe your children have grown and left the house. Maybe people who used to need you every day now only call once a week. And here, a fear returns that feels strangely familiar, almost like the one you had as a child. The fear of being forgotten. The fear of becoming invisible in a world that keeps moving fast, while you feel like you are slowly being left behind. And underneath all of it, quiet but always present, is the fear that was hiding since the very beginning. Not the fear of the dark anymore, but the fear of the ending, of running out of time to fix what was left unfixed, of not having said the things that mattered to the people who mattered while there was still time. So here is the truth this video was really about. Fear never actually goes away as you grow older. It just changes its shape, again and again, following you through every single age of your life. The fear of the dark becomes the fear of not belonging, The fear of not belonging becomes the fear of failure. The fear of failure becomes the fear of not being enough. And in the end, it all quietly turns into the fear of running out of time. But here is the one thing worth remembering. Every single person who ever lived, every person you admire, every person who ever built something meaningful felt exactly this same fear at some point. They did not wait for the fear to disappear. They just kept moving anyway. So tell me honestly in the comments which one of these fears hit you the hardest right now. I read every single comment, and I promise, you are not alone in this. If this video made you feel something, hit subscribe, because on this channel, we talk about the parts of the human mind that most people are too afraid to say out loud. I'll see you in the next one.